Hey everyone, let's talk about fiber and nutrition labels. Hey, welcome to the Radical Geek YouTube channel, where every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday we upload videos, and every Sunday we host a live stream, affectionately coined Coffee Talk, where we brew a warm beverage and then talk about its history and origins, and then we often pair it with a ketogenic recipe. And then we spend our time talking about amongst ourselves. So we look forward to seeing you. That is every Sunday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. And I look forward to seeing you all. So this Wednesday just was after we recently did that keto crate review, and this morning I ate that cookie and it wasn't very good, and I had in my head where I remember hearing a lot of people say I don't like when they play the fiber game, and I realized people who are newer to keto maybe don't really understand why that's a big deal or what that even means. And a lot of times we see new questions where they're like, well, what is net carbs? Why do we tell people to count total carbs? It's all so much and all so confusing. And I thought like a 5-minute high-level overview, which can lead us to questions where we talk in more detail, might be nice today. And for the first part, I just want to talk about what is net carbs. So net carbs is when you subtract certain items away from the total carbohydrate value. And the reason you do that is because certain carbohydrates are non-digestible, but not only non-digestible, but non-impacting to the glycemic response in your body. They don't cause insulin spikes, and in some cases maybe even lower them. And this applies not only to fibers, but into some sugar alcohols, but not that many. And it's where we often get ourselves into trouble, because people get very excited that you can subtract out a lot of stuff. And then what turns out later, they're struggling, or maybe their stomach hurts a lot, or they're experiencing a lot of bloating or gain. And sometimes there's that tendency to go like all the way the other way and include everything, and then not enjoy some of the benefits from things that are truly non-impacting. So what does that even mean? Because I just said, well, basically that's a lot of words. All right, we'll start with fiber. We're not gonna really talk a lot about sugar alcohols today. That's a whole nother can of worms. And we'll get into that, because then there's like sugar alcohols that aren't sugar alcohols, that aren't really a fiber but kind of are. That's another video. So fibers. You have two kinds of fibers. Fibers are either soluble or insoluble. Sometimes I've seen people say like, oh, that's right, well, you can have insoluble fiber because soluble you digest and insoluble you don't, and that's wrong. You don't digest any fiber. How they impact your gut is different. One will alleviate constipation. The other is a bulking agent to kind of pull everything together. Soluble is the bulker. Insoluble is your constipation reliever. So, but neither of them are digestible. Now, so what is that? How does that matter then? Why can you subtract some and not others? Well, so a lot of fibers, and unfortunately you don't always know, and we could go down like this gigantic list and take like 10 years to get them all, but some fibers are perfectly great. Your chia seeds, your psyllium husk, those are what are called true fibers, and they are non-impacting to your glycemic index. I will say that some people still do have trouble with digesting rumbly tummies and things like that. So you do have to kind of get used to them, like all things. Excuse me, my lovely iced coffee. But other than that, that's really as simple as it is. But where do we get in trouble with those questionable fibers that are the quote-unquote fiber game? This is one of my favorite subjects to get on my high horse about, and that's in our nutrition labels and that whole fiber game, because not only are nutrition labels very misleading, often the way they're represented is misleading as well. Basically, some labels will break out soluble or insoluble, which is irrelevant. What we really need is types of fibers broken out by fibers, and I know I'm going to say this wrong because the word is this long. Isomaltoligosaccharides. I did it. I don't know if I could repeat it. Isomaltoligosaccharides. Those are fibers. And to an extent, they're called true fibers. And if you want to know what that is, you have heard us say this 1,000 times. They are your maltodextrin, dextrin. Yeah, we thought those were sugar alcohols. No, they're fibers, but they're fibers that can and do impact a large majority of diabetics, especially type 1, and they do seem to be especially bothersome for people with insulin resistance. There aren't large-scale studies being done on this right now. There are small preliminary studies. A lot of people are very interested because it does seem to be very common anecdotal evidence in large swaths of the populace reporting that they have issues with these. And why this matters is because they have like a sweeter taste to them, which is why they get used a lot. That's why, and maltodextrin, yes, soluble corn fiber. It's the same thing. So that is where you are getting those things that are used in protein bars, protein cookies, your brownies, and all your fun sweet treats. So that is why it is such a big deal. Those things are all in there, and that's why people tell you can't subtract all the fiber out and that you should count total carbs. Because once you start eating those, you could easily gobble down like 3 or 4 protein bars and be like, well, there you go, delicious, and I only had 6 carbs because I subtracted everything out. But it's full of these isomaltoligosaccharides 3 times in a row. Woo. And therefore, it's actually spiking your insulin, and over a short period of time can eventually dump you out of ketosis from producing ketones. And then what happens? Stall, you're logy, you don't have energy, your gut hurts, you don't really know what's going wrong because technically you're within all of your macronutrient tolerances. But there you go. And that's why I get like in such a big dither with all of these products, because truly a lot of them are harmful to people. They're going to hurt people in the long term by giving them junk ingredients, because simply they are in a particular category that really ought to be broken down and not included. So that's my rant for today. I know I didn't give you a ton of information. We could absolutely go down a rabbit hole, but that's it. So that is why, in a nutshell, we say a lot of things about the products, saying we don't like the fiber game and why it's much better if you don't do net carbing at all, because otherwise you're going to start having to go down and basically get yourself your chemistry degree. So that's everything for today. I'm going to be real short. Admittedly, I'm still kind of piecing everything back together after our big hardware failure on Sunday and all our chaos, but I think we're back on track for doing pretty good. Just a little bit of catch up, and I want you guys to know that we're definitely on track for Cheese Friday. It's going to be awesome. And then Sunday we're doing hot cocoa, not to be confused with hot chocolate, and we'll talk about the differences. So make sure that you are still subscribed. Make sure that you click that little bell icon so you're notified every time we upload or go live. And do me a favor and share the channel around so we can grow our little community and continue having fun and enjoying each other's company. Ask all your questions about fiber below, because I tell you, I probably have an entire novel's worth of information that I didn't spit out in this short little video. Ask questions, contribute, share your anecdotal stories, talk about where you've had your struggles, and let me know if this helps you at all. I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.